All right, folks. Brandon Chapman today. It's another Monday night video for TheoTrade. It's October 4th, 2021. I hope we're getting a 10-4 good buddy out there. I'm sure those that are out there, they're calling their friends, calling their acquaintances, calling their broker, and asking what is wrong with the market. As you look at the ES, for example, we ended up finishing around the low from September 20th. We formed a sequence of lower highs and lower lows, and it's just been a situation where we've seen continued selling in the market. As you look at the Qs today, finishing off the lows, but significantly below where the low was on September 20th. Of course, big names today like Amazon, Facebook, and the news Tesla as well. We're going to talk utilities, some energy trades are going on as well. So we'll have some chance to look at some of these names. But as you look at the market, something has fundamentally changed. Certainly, it's coinciding with a rather bearish time of year, namely October. And obviously, we're seeing a lack of buyers being able to come in and sustain any rally. Now, as you look at the Spider Select sectors, you notice energy topped the list today. I spent some time on Friday during my session talking about continued strength in energy and the potential emergence of utilities that we're going to circle back to. But before we get there, let's take a look at the VIX. The VIX was modestly higher in the session. We did not take out the highs over the last week. What we're seeing right now is a controlled period of selling. There's just a delta comfortableness on the part of the institutions, and we're just seeing this thing bleed out as name after name kind of rotates from buying to selling, and just a general malaise overshadowing the market right now. When you look at the index watch for the New York Stock Exchange, again, it paints this picture. So, for example, today's advancing and declining issues. We're seeing about double the declining issues on less than double the volume, right? This isn't the type of day where you're saying, you know what? Everyone's selling everything they got. The kitchen sink is thrown out. Right now, what it looks like is, again, we're just having a down day. Double the declining issues on a little bit more than the advancing shares that were traded today. So again, we're just not seeing that capitulative type event that says, wow, we're nearing a bottom right now. We're not seeing the spike in the VIX. And if this continues, there's a chance the VIX doesn't even take out 29 as we may go March, several percent lower from our current levels. As you look at next levels, for example, on the SPY as an example, the 61% retracement is around 424 or 424 or 4240 in the SPX. If we break that level, we got a pretty significant level, 417. These are some large prints of over 1 million shares we've seen in the past, but we've got our eyes squarely on the May low down here. We may see further selling in a full retracement of the last several months of gains in the market. People talk about black swans. Folks, this is a white swan event. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of swans out in the water. The problem is any one of them could cause the market to falter here. Of course, we look at Facebook today. You think about that movie WALL-E. What would you be without your chair, your motorized, your floating chair, and your ability to change the color of your clothes in an instant because of some ad? That kind of likens to what Facebook is, right? People are constantly changing their views of the world based upon what? What gets traction on Facebook. Of course, the whistleblower is not much of a whistleblower anyway. And then we get the outage on Facebook. Facebook finishes down nearly 5%, just barely off our lows today. Amazon, another stock, again, huge move, down 2.85% at support right now. What do we do at 31.75? Do we start to take this out and we start to search lower lows at 3,000 or 2,900? Again, these continue to weigh on the bigger picture. As you go through the rest of monsters of tech, Apple down 2.5% today. Microsoft down 2% today. As you look at Google, for example, down about 2%. So again, we're seeing broad-based weakness in the monsters of tech. They're not providing the lift the market needs. Now, the areas that are providing some lift is energy, for example. Now, today, what you did see was some sizable trades in the energy space, a lot of them rolling, meaning that they have profits and they're rolling them out and up or just out to a higher strike price in the case of calls, looking for potentially more upside. For example, if we bring up XLE in here, what you'll see is that XLE had interest in the, looking at my notes here, 15 oct. And we scroll way out of the money out here, and you'll kind of see these being put in place here, right? 54, and you've got a 58. Now, not all this is, all that 58,000 is wrapped up just in that roll, but we had a 54, 58 basically rolled to what? 55, 59. And you can kind of see what's going on down here in the time and sales, all occurring right about the exact same time. Again, we're just rolling out to higher strike prices, taking a little bit off the table, but maintaining the bullish bias. As you look at what's going on right now with forward/CL and oil, we took out 75 in a significant way. And again, could we move en route to 80, or some are out there proposing maybe $90? Again, we'll look to see what OPEC can put together in terms of production or production increases, right? Again, there's a lot of risk out there, but for oil that's so undersupplied at the moment, it's getting really interesting, and it's intriguing for some energy stocks. And again, I went over a number of names in our my session on Friday, breaking down the analysis fundamentally and valuation-wise, as well as those for the top-performing names. As you look at utilities, for example, utilities saw a couple of large trades today. You'll see we finished on utilities, the ETF, 1.38% higher. And again, what happened, and we hit early. This was for the 8 oct expiration here. Early on, it was the 64.50, mostly bought. It was about 4,200 early in the day. It's kind of swelled to 8,000 on the session against 174 open interest. And then what happened, it kicked in a little bit later, and this was for the 19 nov expiration. The 29 oct expiration here. And as you look out here, 12,000 contracts on the call side bought, 12,500 puts sold, a kind of a long synthetic trade. And as we look at XLU throughout the course of the trading day, you'll kind of see that begin to kind of kick in here around 11 and then accelerate towards the close here. So again, it's really interesting as you consider what's going on with the Treasury bond market, would certainly indicate that maybe we're expecting to see yields start to back up here. And again, you look at real estate doing okay. That would certainly indicate that we may start to see some strength in Treasury yields as we back off from our highs here. And we kind of talked about last Monday in this video about the potential in bonds, right? I think I did a video on Tuesday, really. But anyway, so as we look at this, we're looking for strength in bonds, strength in utilities as we get just a little bit defensive here in the near term. But remember, if the market starts to really come unwound and the VIX starts to spike, utilities will be sold with it. But at least in the near term here, we're near a level of support. We're seeing some buying. Maybe we got some upside here to about that 66 level, which is about a 1/3 retracement of the sell-off over the course of the last month. A couple of unusual trades today. One was BABA. I mean, really kind of laying it out there, for example, in BABA. This was a 19 nov expiration, and man, they're throwing it out here at the 60 strike. Again, you can take a flyer if you want, like I did, for example. Again, this is a lottery ticket type trade. There's other stuff you could do on this, but the point is 21,000 contracts, mostly bought in one print at the 60 strike. Again, angling for some downside over the course of the next 46 days. Some of the bullish end really quick, as we look at BLMN, for example. BLMN, a nice little long call vertical, 27.50.30 for the 19 nov expiration. Vimeo today, VMEO. There was a number of these I posted on my spreadsheet on the site, but Vimeo today, over 7,000 contracts, mostly bought early in the session today for 19 of 30 calls. Again, looking at some upside here in the near term here. Continued bullish activity in stocks like BTU, for example. Huntington is one we looked at last week in the at the close. And Huntington, we saw it kind of fade a little bit, but we're seeing that bullish call trade re-emerge at the $32 strike price for a 15 oct. As you look at the stock here, the previous one kind of emerged here. We broke out the next day. We're fading today, but we're seeing that trade kind of re-emerge, pointing to some potential upside here. But anyway, folks, that's all we got for today's video. See you back